Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first official spooky season fairy tale in 5 minutes. As always, if you would like to skip straight to the story, I will leave a timestamp in the comments down below for you. But if not, here's how this works. I have a list, somewhat altered now, of words, concepts, and phrases that often pop up in these types of stories. I generate 5 words off of that list by rolling a die, and then I give myself 1 hour to write a fairy tale or a scary story that incorporates all 5 of those words. The final product is what you see before you today. Just as a reminder, the first time that one of those words from my list pops up in the story, it will also pop up on your screens somewhere around here. So keep an eye out for those if you would like to, and away we go. Drusilla had spent the first days of her imprisonment curled in the corner of her cell, ignoring the food and water shoved through the bars at her by surly guards, and wordlessly glaring any time anyone spoke to her. Not that many bothered, of course. They were very afraid of her, you see. No one had been told exactly what it was she had done to end up here, but it wasn't often that ladies of her pedigree ended up in the dungeons. Particularly not barefoot ladies, clad in nothing but a nightgown that had once been white, now covered in crimson stains. Drew herself, on arrival, had been utterly unharmed, which they had learned when they cleaned similar splatters of blood from her alabaster skin to reveal no wounds whatsoever. So there she lay, mostly unbothered, for 7 days and 7 nights. But then, on that 7th night, a change. The guard who was tasked with bringing her evening meal had grown nearly accustomed to the task by now. Every day he clomped down the stairs in booted feet, rather more loudly than strictly necessary. If asked, he would have claimed that his intention was to wake her for dinner. But the truth was, he didn't like being alone in the shadowy darkness with her, and he had convinced himself that making noise was less frightening than the near impenetrable silence that came from her cell. He would make his way over, staying as far from her as he possibly could, and slide the plate of food beneath the small gap below the bars. Usually, she refused to even acknowledge him. Usually, she remained in the furthermost corner, staring with eyes ringed in the black of sleeplessness, still wearing that same bloodied shift. But on that night, when she looked over at him, she smiled. The light of a full moon streamed through the small window set high in the wall, bathing her in its silvery glow. "Hello," she said, softly. He froze. Her smile did not fade. "I'm sorry, did I startle you?" Her voice was low, almost musical. "I'm sure you can understand. It's been a difficult week." "Yes," he managed at last. She looked beautiful somehow, like this. Almost ethereal. "Is that my dinner?" She began to walk towards him. Her dark eyes were still trained on his face, brighter and livelier than he had ever seen them. "Oh!" He looked down, startled to find that he was still holding the plate of food. "Yes, my apologies." He began to close the distance between them. All the while, she watched him, her delicate fingers curled around the bars that kept her locked inside. She did not speak again until he had walked right up to her. "Can I ask you something?" "What is it?" His heart, hammering so wildly when he had first seen her looking at him, began to slow again. This was not a dangerous woman. It had been foolish to be so worried about being here with her. "Well," she smiled again, her teeth gleaming through the darkness. He blinked, startled. For a moment they had looked sharp. But that was silly. Impossible. "I wondered if you might unlock the door." A startled laugh escaped him. "What?" "Only for a moment, of course. It's just that I've been so lonely and cramped in here. I hoped we might take a bit of a turnabout. I cannot do that, he blurted out, alarmed by the fact that his first instinct had not been to follow his orders, but to obey her, to console her. Of course, I understand. She ducked her head, dark hair falling forward to obscure her face. Expression hidden, she asked, "What did they say?" "About me?" "Not terribly much," he admitted. He knelt, sliding the food through to her, but she ignored it. "I will admit, I have not asked." "I can assure you, sir, there is nothing to fear from me." He found suddenly that the ring of keys was in his hand. "I shouldn't," he said, a trifle helplessly. She looked at him again. Her expression was open, vulnerable. "Please." The following morning they would find him sprawled on the ground, eyes open and unseeing. His head was split like a discarded pumpkin, 2 puncture wounds decorating the side of his neck. A bloodied shift was abandoned in the corner of an empty cell, and the topmost layer of the dead guard's uniform had been stolen. The others would later speculate that it had been taken to act as a sort of disguise. And Drusilla was gone. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I gave myself an extra 30 seconds on that one so that I could be melodramatic and slow about it. Also, I would have left it dark in here because I thought it was kind of fun, but I would not have been able to read my dice, so here we are. Thank you for sticking around if you have done so. And let's find out what next time has in store, shall we? So, next time we shall have a witch, a sunset, someone missing, a cauldron, and a ghost. Ooh, okay. Well, next week I will be doing another one of my disability representation videos, so keep an eye out for that. And then the week after that, we will have another spooky story for our 5-minute fairy tales. So take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to share this video or any video with anyone that you think might enjoy them. Okay? See you soon. Bye.